Our tour of the People's Republic of China appropriately took us to the capital, Beijing, and to one of the best-known sites in the city, Tiananmen Square. It is the largest public square in the world. Mao Zedong cleared away blocks of old buildings in 1950 to create it. The Chinese National Museum and the Great Hall of the People face each other across the square. In the center is an important national symbol, the monument to the people's heroes. The obvious military presence in the square was an unfortunate reminder that this was the place where the massive student protest took place that was so brutally crushed in 1989. It is an amazing place in spite of its dark past. It can hold 500,000 people. In a place such as this, it's sometimes hard to believe you are actually here. As proof, we took lots of photos, including a prized photograph of our group. At the northern end of the square, gardens surround the entrance to the Forbidden City. This is the single most popular attraction in China, not only for Western tourists, but for thousands of Chinese who travel from all parts of China. The main gate, known as the Gate of Heavenly Peace, once was reserved exclusively for the emperor. It was from the top of this gate that Mao declared the founding of the People's Republic in 1949. The great Ming Emperor Yongle built the Forbidden City. Construction began in 1407, and it is estimated that it took 1 million workers 14 years to complete. Within the city, the first gate is the Gate of Great Harmony. The Ming emperors came here to consult with their ministers. The Forbidden City covers an incredible 8 million square feet. It contains 800 buildings, including 5 major halls and 17 palaces. This complex of red-walled buildings had roofs of yellow tile, a color used exclusively by the emperors. These ancient Chinese people showed considerable skill in the design and construction of their buildings. The materials they used were extraordinary. Their bricks, for instance, were made from white lime and glutinous rice, which made them incredibly strong. Throughout the Forbidden City, there are countless examples of what these highly skilled artisans could accomplish many centuries ago. The last emperor was driven from here in 1924. Within these walls, a succession of emperors had ruled China for over 500 years. Estimates are that over 7 million visitors come to visit this astonishing place every year, and as you would expect, they all wish to see the throne from which the emperors ruled in their grandeur. Over the centuries, much has been destroyed through pillaging armies and through fire and decay, but fortunately, a great deal has still survived from the Ming and Qing dynasties. In the area where the emperor lived, many of the living quarters and surrounding gardens have been restored to their original beauty. It represents a lifestyle which today is beyond comprehension. The Forbidden City leaves even the most jaded visitor in awe due to its sheer size, its unique beauty, and its intriguing history. Our next experience was a pedicab ride, which was good fun and an interesting change of pace. Our destination was to a home where we were invited to see and hear how some of the people in this country live.
Listen to it. Okay, and he and his wife all retired, and he used to be an archaeologist, and his wife was working the rubber product factory.
Thank you.
And this house was built in the Qing Dynasty and has a history over 190 years old.
We were warmly welcomed and invited to tour the home. Many photographs were taken with our friendly hostess. Our means of transportation and the visit to this typical home gave us a great deal of insight into the present level of Chinese society. Our next day's excursion took us to the Great Red Gate, the main entrance to the valley where 13 of the 16 Ming emperors are entombed. This pathway is known as the Spirit Way. It is beautifully lined with willows and remarkable human figures and animals carved from single blocks of stone. It is a 2.5-mile walk, but we took advantage of a much welcomed offer to ride the distance. Changling is the largest and best preserved of the 13 Ming tombs. This immense pavilion sits over the tomb of Yongle, the third emperor of the Ming dynasty. He was one of China's most influential rulers. Among his most notable achievements was the building of the Forbidden City and the construction of the Great Wall. This huge structure was built to proclaim his achievements. It is noted architecturally for its unpainted columns and contrasting green ceiling panels. The terrain was increasingly mountainous as we drove further north from Beijing. There was great anticipation among our fellow travelers as we caught our first glimpse of the Great Wall. The portion of the wall we came to visit had been restored some years ago. Rebuilding continues on other large sections throughout the country. Thousands come to visit it and marvel at its immensity. It is the longest man-made structure, twisting and undulating like a giant dragon across the Chinese landscape for almost 4,000 miles. Watchtowers appearing at regular intervals are a characteristic of the wall. They were used to house troops and to store food and weapons. Predictably, visitors parade along the wall. Almost everyone records this memorable occasion. Even artists are drawn to capture this unique and beautiful scene. The Great Wall was built to protect China from the raids of the Mongol and Turkic tribes. Now it has become a symbol of the wisdom and tenacity of the Chinese people. During our last day in China, we traveled to the Summer Palace, a must-see on every tourist's itinerary. It is located on the outskirts of Beijing and was used by the emperors as a summer retreat from the heat of the inner city. Lake Kuming was artificially created and covers 3/4 of the grounds. The grounds of the Summer Palace extend over 10 square miles. Our group boarded a dragon boat, as this was obviously the best and most pleasant way of viewing this lovely place. As we leave the shore, a beautiful 17-arch bridge dominates the view. It was built in 1750 to provide access to an island which is the site of a beautiful pagoda, one of the 3,000 buildings within the complex. On the opposite shore is the Summer Palace. It required 15 years to build and cost 1/7 of the country's annual income. It stands as testimony to the luxurious life of the feudal emperors. Further along the shoreline is a more bizarre example of excessive and reckless spending. In 1893, the Dowager Empress embezzled funds from the Chinese Navy to construct this marble imitation of a Western-style paddle boat. Who could ever forget this unique journey, as there is nothing else on this earth that is quite like it. Everyone wants to see the panda bears. Our group was no different. Their baby-like cuteness make them a favorite of children and adults alike. Pandas have become a worldwide symbol of endangered animals. It is estimated that only 3,000 still exist in the wilds. They live on bamboo almost exclusively and eat it constantly, consuming up to 40 pounds of it a day. Their distinctive black and white coat and their large head in relation to their body make them particularly